Do you like FPS games? Do you like dinosaurs? Then boy oh boy, do I have the game for you. Hello everybody, and welcome back. On this episode of Who Remembers, we're going to be talking about Turok. So this classic was first released in March of 1997 on the Nintendo 64, and later that year it was released onto PC before getting a big re-release as far as a rework onto current generation consoles, which is what I'm running now. This game is a lot of fun. Imagine Jurassic Park sprinkled with some GoldenEye, sprinkled with some of that Mortal Kombat gore, the huge blood drops. I mean, after all, it was published by Acclaim, who'd worked on early Mortal Kombat games, Baldur's Gate 2, NBA Jam, and who can forget BMX XXX. Okay, back to the topic at hand. I replayed this front to back, and man, it was just as fun as I remember. Now, the first time I did play this, it was on one of those demo discs. You remember those? Where they would have 8 different demos on one disc, and you'd get to a certain point, you'd just hit an invisible wall, and then bam, the demo would be over. And then sometimes you would have an actual time frame to complete said demo, and other times it was just the invisible wall. Yeah, it was one of those. That's the first time I played it, and it was for PC, but I ended up getting it for Nintendo 64, and since I was late for it, it was about 2000, so I ended up getting that and Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, because that had just released. So Turok has fluid control, action-packed sequences, puzzle-like stages, and yes, even containing the classic collect-a-thon theme by gathering keys. You go to the hub, and the keys allow you to progress through the stages, making it vital for you to collect the keys. It's very important that you get the keys. There's also special stages, but they don't give you anything super rare or anything. There's actually special secret spots, like in Doom, where you can find secret areas. It's completely different from the special stages. So special stages just give you ammo, health, sometimes ultra health, giving you an additional 100 HP stacked on top of your health, with your max HP pool being 250 points, which is actually a lot for this game. So there are also special sets of armor you can collect called tech armor, which they can deplete. It's not like it's super rare, going to give you immunity. It just gives you full protection over your health pool. In other words, if you sustain any damage, it'll only be affected to the armor and not to your health pool. And that can stack as well, I think, to 75 or 100. I could be wrong on that. The most I really got was about, I think it was 71, so that's why I'm making that guess. But who exactly are we? Who is the character? You are Turok. Well, that's the title you have, being passed down to the eldest male. The character's name being Talset. Turok is a time-traveling warrior tasked with putting back together the Chronoscepter and stopping the Campaigner, whose goal is to use the Chronoscepter's time magic property to break apart time and rule the world. And the setting of the game is the Lost Land. It's basically a mishmash land where time is chaotic. So you have enemies from the medieval era, dinosaurs with lasers, and skeleton cyborgs. The Lost Land is where the Chronoscepter is broken up in different areas along the hub. That's why Talset, or Turok, was traveling there of his own volition to stop the Campaigner and to put together the Chronoscepter, as well as being like the Liu Kang, Earth's protector and all, small things. With the gameplay, I feel like I touched on, but I didn't do it enough justice. From the smooth movement topped with the weapon bobbing, which I like. I was just telling somebody that I don't like the stiff weapon movement in other FPS games. After playing this, I'm like, holy god, that little touch is like just what gives it that extra lift. Like just walking around, and as you face another direction, it pulls the whole weapon, because you would if you're turning. and the jumping being very responsive. As you saw, we had that section of those pillars jutting out of the ground, and in other games I've had major trouble because the jumping was too sluggish, but not here. Also, what I feel is ahead of its time is this, the wall climbing. The wall climbing and the head movement as you're climbing, because you wouldn't be stationary, is just perfect. It's the perfect amount of balance. This game is not sluggish and it's not slippery. It is that perfect in between that you can work and make a challenging set of puzzles for, as far as like jumping puzzles, and still feel rewarded after landing said puzzle. That's what makes a good game. It's chef's kiss. So, alongside most of your basic enemies, you fight an iteration of Crocodile Dundee, a giant mantis that comes from a statue, and a giant T-Rex. Well, they're giant already, but you get what I mean. So, you fight that as well as something else, or maybe multiple things. But I just wanted to give you a few examples of some of the enemies you'll encounter, other than the standard lot being various dinosaurs, the cyborg skellies, you know, the things that I talked about earlier in the video. So upon release, this game garnered a lot of positive reviews, some even calling it a perfect game, but generally I've seen by the numbers it was either given an 85 to 90 on like Metacritic and things of that nature. They praised the gameplay, the graphics for the time, and the depth, and I can see why. For a simple FPS game, the story is enough to drive you to see it through, with motivation and seeing if you can put together the Chronoceptor, find all the weapons, and stop the campaigner, along the way giving you high-octane action. So, I mean, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you see it through to the ending? So now I have to ask, do you have what it takes to be Earth's protector, to stop the evil that toils in the Lost Land, to put together the Chronoceptor and manifest time once and for all? Well, I guess you're gonna have to play the game to find out. And seriously, I highly recommend this game to anyone wanting to play a game to pass the time. If you're interested in the story, if you just want to play a fun game, get Turok. Just play Turok. It's a lot of fun. As I said before, it's available on all current gen consoles, so you can play it on your PS5, you can play it on your Xbox, you can play it on PC. As a matter of fact, like I said before, this is the reworked version, so like the lighting in some areas might be better, maybe there's just a little shine from the guns, you know, but anyway, that's it for this episode of Who Remembers. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun playing this. I had a lot of fun looking up some information, because there were some things I did want to double check and look up, as far as like Turok's name and that thereof, when it released, and the critical reception, if there was any, which there wasn't. It was all positive, which is nice. It's a nice thing to hear that a game has, you know, an all positive outcome. So with that being said, y'all, I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate you all, and 1K gang, let's go.